March 13th. And today I'm going to continue that and analyze the occurrences that have developed during the last 24 hours. First, yesterday, Christmas Eve, Manny Pacquiao's camp was fed up with all the accusations and all the demands that Mayweather put on in regards to steroids testing, and they felt like they were being unfairly harassed and that his name was being defamed. And he sent out a letter with top ranks approval from the Philippines. And this is what the letter said. This is published on LATimes.com. Aram's lawsuit statement. Saying that his character and person have been questioned, maligned, damaged, and tarnished by baseless accusations, pound-for-pound boxing king Manny Pacquiao and promoter Top Rank Incorporated announced today the filing of a lawsuit within the next few days against the Mayweathers, Floyd Sr. and Jr., and Golden Boy Promotions. Enough is enough. These people, Mayweather Sr., Jr., and Golden Boy Promotions, think it is a joke and a right to accuse someone wrongly of using steroids or other performance-enhancing drugs. I've tried just to brush it off as a mere pre-fight ploy, but I think they have gone overboard, said Pacquiao in Tagalog while celebrating Christmas with his family in the Philippines. I've instructed my promoter, Bob Arum, Top Rank Incorporated, to help me out in the filing of the case as soon as possible because I've had people coming over to me now asking if I really was taking performance-enhancing drugs and have cheated my way to becoming the #1 boxer in the world, said Pacquiao. Libel, slander, and defamation suit are being readied against the accused to once and for all clear out Pacquiao's good name and character. And obviously this is put together out of the Philippines. It wasn't written very well. You know, Pacquiao's probably pretty upset. You know, I had phone calls from people saying, oh, Pacquiao's on steroids, and I talked about it yesterday on the last video, on the first part of the video, saying, no, not necessarily. Let's not jump to conclusions here. And then today, Aram was going around all over basically saying that the fight's over, and that they're going to probably have Pacquiao-Malignaggi fight Manny Pacquiao March 13th. And this is what Bob Arum told the LA Times. This was today, December 25th, around noon. The fight is dead. Mayweather's not the commissioner of boxing. And he also told the AP, the Associated Press, that the fight's over. And he said OVER. And he said that Manny Pacquiao is not going to want to use the United States agency for anti-doping because he said their view by Pacquiao's side is being partisan. He doesn't want to use them. I don't want to use them. They're so inflexible they can't be used. And then Richard Schaefer went on record today as saying that he doesn't consider the fight to be over until he hears it out of Pacquiao's mouth. So that's what's going on as of right now. Basically, Pacquiao's camp and Aram's team, they're fed up with all the accusations, and they feel like the Mayweather camp has been difficult in the last part of negotiations regarding the steroid testing, and they feel like Pacquiao's name has been slandered in the press, and they're saying it's over. They're calling Pacquiao-Malignaggi, and they're going to put him in as a tune-up fight probably March 13th. Why Richard Schaefer is saying that, hey, wait a minute, this fight's not over. I want to hear from Pacquiao. You know, let's go back to the table. They're still willing to talk, it sounds like. And Pacquiao-Malignaggi, let's talk about Pacquiao-Malignaggi. I mean, this guy, basically Pacquiao-Malignaggi is, you know, decent-looking, good-looking white kid that has a big mouth. He's got some skill, but he can't crack an egg. When was the last time Pacquiao-Malignaggi got a knockout? What did he ever do to get these title shots? First he got a title shot against Cotto, and Cotto broke his jaw. Then he got a title shot against Ricky Hatton in London, and Hatton stopped him. Okay, he beat Juan Diaz, but Juan Diaz is a 135-pounder, and he beat Juan Diaz, who's a 135-pounder, and Juan Diaz was stopped by Juan Manuel Marquez. He was beat by Nate Campbell in 2008. I mean, basically, really, Pacquiao-Malignaggi hasn't done anything except run his mouth and just talk up the fights. I mean, this kid may do it. He owes, I always say, you know, good managers get 20, 30%. Lou DiBella should get 50% because Pacquiao-Malignaggi is not a pound-for-pound guy and he keeps getting these big fights. And if he wasn't an articulate young man, he wouldn't be getting these fights. You know, he's a white kid that can talk a good game, and that's why he's getting these big fights. But the Malignaggi fight's a good fight for Manny Pacquiao if he's going to take that one fight before he actually fights Mayweather. I want to see Mayweather fight, but Malignaggi's fast. He's got a good skill set. He's a mover. He's got good legs. And in preparation for a Mayweather fight, that would be really good for Pacquiao because it would give him some experience with those type of sparring partners in the gym, and it would allow him to get used to that style because the guys he's been fighting, Morales, Barrera, Cotto, Hatton, all those guys are aggressive, you know, face-first type fighters, and this is a new style he's going to deal with Mayweather. So from a technical and a strategic standpoint, the Malignaggi fight will be good for Pacquiao. It'll be great for Malignaggi. He's going to get at least $1 million, maybe $2 million payday, $2.5 million payday out of it. and which he doesn't deserve, by the way. And so that's where, and he's a perfect opponent for Pacquiao. I don't think Malignaggi can beat Manny Pacquiao, even if Pacquiao, you know, comes in because of the letdown of not fighting Mayweather. I still think Pacquiao has too much and is just too good for a guy like Malignaggi who can't even break an egg. You can't. When was the last time Malignaggi got a knockout? I mean, I just think Pacquiao's going to come in and beat up a Malignaggi, and it'll be good preparation for the Mayweather bout. But what about Mayweather, though? That's the question. Who can Mayweather fight? Pacquiao's Paul Malignaggi was kind of a big name in America, and he's not threatening. Who can Mayweather fight? He already picked on Juan Manuel Marquez. The public's going to get sick of Floyd Mayweather fighting nobodies. So I was looking at some of the possible opponents for Mayweather, thinking about them, and you know, Shane Mosley's going to dance with Andre Berto in late January on HBO. So that fight's out. Maybe Mayweather could wait for the winner of that bout and set up a fight with them in May if the Pacquiao fight isn't going to happen. I mean, that's a possibility. But Andre Berto's with Al Heyman, who's also one of the advisors for Floyd Mayweather, and I don't remember one time in the recent past that Al Heyman's put his two fighters against each other. So that's unlikely because, you know, Al Heyman's with Berto. If Berto beats Mosley, now if Mosley wins, maybe it's a possibility. They both have connections to Golden Boy, and that could be a possibility, but it wouldn't be happening in March. It would be, you know, a summer extravaganza with Shane Mosley. But again, that fight's not as big as Manny Pacquiao, but it is a good fight, and it'll be very interesting, and Mosley should test Mayweather. Another possible opponent, Margarito's out the window. He's suspended right now. He's going to go ask for his license back in February, but he's with Arum. Arum's not going to provide an opponent for Mayweather. And same with Joshua Clottey. He's also with Bob Arum, Top Rank. So that's out the window. That's not a possibility. Amir Khan might be a possibility. He's with Golden Boy, but he's at 140 pounds. He has a WBA, one of their many titles at 140 pounds. And Mayweather probably won't want to go down to 140 to fight him, but Amir Khan, for that type of payday, he brings in a lot of European fans. He's got a big name in London, in England, where he was a silver medalist in 2000. So that's definitely a possibility, or 2004, excuse me. So that's a possibility. Amir Khan at maybe a catch weight 145 pounds. Paul Williams is out the window. He's also advised by Al Heyman. So, I mean, and Mayweather's not going to fight Paul Williams. Paul Williams is 6'2". He can switch from orthodox to southpaw. He has an 80-inch reach. No one's going to fight Paul Williams. And I don't know if Paul Williams can make 147. He says he can. I mean, I'm sure for that type of payday he'll cut off his arm to make the weight, but Paul Williams is out the window. Floyd Mayweather's not going to fight Paul Williams. And then, you know, Luis Colasso is a possibility. Andre Berto was mandated by the WBC to fight Luis Colasso in a rematch immediately. But Andre Berto's jumping into a match with Shane Mosley, so I don't know what the WBC is going to do about that. Shane Mosley is the WBA Super Champion. Maybe the WBC is going to grant him extension since, you know, Shane Mosley's been a WBC champion, and because of his notoriety and the importance of that fight and how that's going to affect the trajectory of boxing. But I don't think so, man. I think the WBC, even though supposedly they're going to sanction it according to BoxRec, I think they're going to strip Andre Berto, and maybe if Mayweather could fight Luis Colasso, that'd be a good tune-up. Colosso's a tough kid. He throws a lot of punches. It'll be a good fight for Mayweather, and it'll probably be for the WBC welterweight title. But later on, let's say Mayweather fought Colasso for the WBC title, vacant title that's going to be either relinquished by Andre Berto or stripped from him by the WBC. Then basically the next future contract negotiations between Mayweather and Pacquiao would be bogged down because they both have titles. Pacquiao would have the WBO title and Mayweather would have the WBC title, and then basically we'd, you know, come to another impasse in negotiations for maybe a summer fight if it doesn't happen on March 13th. Another possibility is Tim Bradley. Gary Shaw, Tim Bradley's co-promoter along with Thompson Boxing, recently stated that Tim Bradley's ready to jump in and fight either one of those guys. He'd jump at the chance to fight in March, either Mayweather or Pacquiao. But, you know, Bradley's dangerous. I mean, Bradley's beaten Junior Witter, Kendall Holt, Nate Campbell. He just beat Lamont Peterson, who was 20-something, national amateur champion. Timothy Bradley's a tough guy to fight. They're not going to fight Timothy Bradley until they have to, or he makes a name for himself where he's bringing a lot of money to the table. You know, even though Bradley would love to fight, and he might even give them more trouble than we think. He might even win those fights, but they're not going to fight Timothy Bradley. I just can't see Mayweather. You know how he doesn't like to take risks. He's not going to take a risk unless he's going to be compensated accordingly, and I just don't think he's going to be compensated accordingly in a Timothy Bradley fight. And those are pretty much it. So I'm thinking if the